hearing.
By the town board, not the planning board. In a similar process.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome. We do have a public hearing scheduled for 7 p.m. On the comprehensive land use plan and then GEIS. That has been presented so nicely by MJ and Ryan last month, and so we'll officially open the public hearing for comment on the plan. And we have 3 people that have signed up to speak. Nancy Gatlin is first.
First, before I start, I want to commend the committee who worked on this draft. It must have taken an awful long time because it took me a long time to read this whole thing. I just want you to know I'm not here to rail against the development. I know Wilton needs to progress. I know development and progress go hand in hand, but I feel very strongly about some of the development that is going on in Wilton. About 3 years ago or so, some of the zoning laws were changed and weakened. We were told by the town board that it was just some housekeeping and tweaking. Well, that led to that monstrosity that's being built on Route 9 just north of Northern Pines Road, and also to the wellness center that was built across from Maple Avenue School, and that's just a couple of examples. I had a house guest this week, and as we went up Northern Pines Road, she looked at that apartment building and she said to me, "Why are they building a prison here?" So that's how it looks to people. As I read through the comprehensive plan, I saw a lot of words and phrases such as architectural and developmental standards, aesthetically pleasing commercial design, protect scenic vistas, development of a scale and design that is appropriate, protection of open spaces, attractive streetscape and beautification plan, and avoid fragmentation of wetlands. Does constructing enormous buildings out to the sidewalk achieve this? Do we want our section of Route 9 to look like Route 9 in Malta? And what about vistas? That beautiful ridge on Route 9 that you see as you're going north is now, it'll be blazing in beautiful color in another month or so. It is now partially blocked by that apartment building. The comprehensive plan states that there should be architectural review to address visual aspects of the structure as it relates to the surroundings and vision of the area. Lastly, a public hearing is being held. Will the town board pay attention to the residents of Wilton? You've got to listen to us. Unfortunately, in the past few years, I haven't seen a whole lot of this. And only one last thing I want to say. It was mentioned in the comprehensive plan that the possibility of having a Wilton zip code. I, for one, would love to have a zip code just for Wilton. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
What do you do?
Next, Dan Taglianto. Dan, we haven't seen you in a while. Welcome.
Oh, I've been on vacation. Thank the board for the opportunity to speak to you. I would almost repeat what's being called, or what's already been brought to your attention, and I know you're aware of it. You live here in this community and understand it. Though there's no property taxes, there are things that we do pay to live in Wilton. With homes on property that we don't own. Children come into the community, our school taxes go up. The maintenance on the highways and the number of miles that the road highway superintendent has to take care of increases, meaning the cost increases. What I'm also, and I've been talking about before, and I'll speak again, There are a number of places, intersections mostly, that are developed into a bucket list. And if we're going to continue to add new neighbors and people, the congestion or the use of the highways is only going to increase. There are a number of locations at intersections that are becoming not just a nuisance, they're becoming possible accident areas. And I speak of the very near to this, where the intersection of Northern Pine and Travers Road, the north end of Smith Bridge Road, where it meets into Route 9, the amount of traffic at certain hours, people take daring chances on getting into traffic. People are impatient. We are probably 6 years beyond the responsibility for this New York State DOT, the city of Saratoga Springs, and the town of Wilton of clearing up and straightening up and finishing the radiuses on the arterial. And if you go that way, you'll see that people are in fact jumping the curb so they can make a right-hand turn. That work had been planned 8 years ago and paid for. The money was transferred not by this, by our state senator to complete Malta. So what I'm asking is that before we expand areas, that somehow we catch up with these lists that we're developing that hurts our community by presence and use. I thank you for hearing me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Next we have Connie Towers.
I'm here, Nancy's accommodations to the committee. I was there at the May meeting, and what a tremendous amount of work to go back through all these pages of this master plan. I think it's huge. I had more questions and timelines than anything, but I guess it's just comment period. Is that correct?
We can accommodate you, Connie.
Right. And I think going forward, with progress, looking at some great things, renewable energy and conservation overlays, possibly in the planning area 1, right? That was a recommendation. Some architectural standards and guidelines, and a Hamlet master plan, which I'm trying to figure out, is that an addendum then to what you're going to, the comp plan?
Yeah, it would be, something just for, we would actually had discussed possibly 2 Hamlet areas, 2 separate individual Hamlet areas.
Right, because I think, well, that's just some people's opinion, that the 2 Hamlets have been, sore points, and Route 9 and then down below. So a Hamlet master plan would serve as the town's official use policy for that, for those 2 areas at least, because there was just a small number there that we got rid of. And then you talked about a new H2 Hamlet area, which is Route 9 and Wilton Gansford Road, which would be less dense, and what you're saying, smaller scale development than the other hamlet. So my question is, do you go ahead and start defining these things before someone comes in with a project? I mean, ready for it, so that these 2 Hamlet master, this master plan and these 2 H1, the revisiting of H1 to adjust, define the boundaries and everything, and then the actual H2 is in place, so we're kind of, I know it's been a lot of work, but at least ahead of the game. And I think you'll have to also revisit the maximum density in both the areas. And because if you do that, in New H2, you're going to have to go back to the zoning law for hamlets, and then that will bring you back to 129, 176M, which is your apartment building densities, which went from 8 to 15. And so, yeah, maybe there's somewhere in the middle that you can deal with that. But the hamlet law will put you back to that zoning law, and then you'll have to refigure at some point, and that's going to be town board. So I think that everyone's on a great path. I mean, there's a lot of effort, a lot of work. But I think also addressing these things, and I know you have timetables for some of them, and you just went through the traffic study, and, you know, I know there's a lot of work to be done, but I at least like to see something with the Hamlet master plan so that you don't go back into where we were before, where people are just, oh my goodness, look what's going up, or look what's happening over there, and, you know, the density's all over the place. You know, if you start it from, and make it and cement it right from the beginning, you won't have those problems at one point. So those are my comments. I mean, I think it's remarkable. Keep moving forward, and I think just defining the zoning and the terms and a lot more of the guidelines that you're talking about will actually help fill in the blanks between, you know, the transition between residential and apartments. And hopefully that will retain the older neighborhoods, the people that have been paying taxes for quite a long time, that are still here and want to see the town progress, but want to make sure that it's still the quality that they came to live here for. It's a wonderful town. I love this town. And we just want to keep a little jewel in it. So, thanks very much.
Okay. Ryan, I think the next step in the process is actually this committee now has to deal with the zoning. We got once the plan is adopted, now you got to fill in the backfill with the zoning. So
then the zoning would be revisit all the zoning requirements, change that. That's a bigger project.
And that would address the Hamlet master plans or that stuff, or that just a
Hamlet master plan would be something separate.
Okay.
I mean, it could be help to address the zoning details, architecture standards, density.
Is it going to address the end of the mega buildings?
That's something we could address in
Hamlet's needed in this town?
I agree. It was mentioned that this all happened in the last couple of years. It goes back a little further than a couple of years. It goes back about 4 years.
Even more than that?
No, I'm talking about the mega building.
The mega building, no, but was approved and on the books probably 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, that was
just, you know, so.
But it wasn't approved by the town.
Right, but it was on the books as a possibility to be used.
The community was against it.
Right, but if it's in our books and our zoning, we don't have a choice.
The new way of writing it, can we eliminate that from happening again?
We could change our zoning laws.
a lot of it has to do with the size of the lot too. I mean, you can only fit, you know.
Well, when you change it from 8 to 15, that allows these buildings to be erected.
Yeah, well, that was a PV thing, and then, well, the Hamlet district became a higher density thing, but that's what the zone calls for now, and that's what was, when they built that's what was approved for, so.
It's definitely an eyesore, and it didn't preserve this town one bit. I don't want to see 3 or 4 more go up.
It would be impossible along there. There's no land to do it on, but
on the record, impossible.
The last guy bought 4 or 5 lots so he could do it. And now they got shot down for car dealership, and next thing they got changed, put that building. So
Yeah, we can't undo the past, unfortunately. We can deal with the future, though.
Make it better in the future.
We have a couple more people that would like to speak, I believe.
No, there's nobody else.
I know, but I'm just saying, that gentleman standing, and Mr. Gatlin stood up, like he wanted to speak, I believe. Did you want to speak, Mr. Gatlin? No? Okay. And I see.
No, there's nobody else has signed up, but
He would like to speak.
Mr. Herron.
Mr. Herron?
Yep.
I don't like the word "mister." I'm just an old guy. What is the intent of the town board relative to this comprehensive plan at this point? Are you going to approve something tonight,
No.
or is there going to be further discussion? And the reason I raised that, for the last year, I've stepped back as if I was just an ordinary citizen. And I think it's amazing, and I think I can prove it, very few people in this town actually know what's in the comprehensive plan. I did not know tonight until tonight, that I could have got a copy of it. The only news that I ever received relative to this meeting tonight is through the Saratogian, which we won't describe as a reliable newspaper. But there are lots of people out there. The lady previously talked about the monstrosity on Route 9. That's a very kind word. I have a much deeper description of that. But I would like the town board, if possible, or in some other format, to call a meeting where the comprehensive plan can be discussed in great detail by the members on that board, so that it can be total understanding in this town as to what some people think we should look like. I'm not going to comment on that because I don't know about it. I just want to say, go slow and give the people a chance to understand, and then let's see what happens. It may be a great plan, I don't know, but I would not rush into it if at all possible.
Well, there's certainly no rushing into this. Started a year ago. The committee was appointed. There've been open meetings, public hearings by that committee. If you don't know about it, then you weren't here in Wilton, because it's been advertised. They're public meetings, and a lot of people. The committee has been formed, open, transparent.
Where was it advertised?
Every meeting is, what publications, they go in all the publications that we authorize, the Saratogian, the...
Time Warner TV.
Saratoga Today. It's been on the website.
I mean, this started last September, and so...
Think about it from the viewpoint of the residents. You say you put it out in Saratoga Today.
Both Saratoga and Saratoga Today.
I
think Post-Star.
Yeah, Post-Star, public hearing.
No.
Our official newspapers is
I haven't seen it. And now, admittedly, I'm in Florida 3 or 4 months of the year, but I haven't seen anything. And there's got to be a better way of doing it, because the way we're doing it now isn't getting the message through. I'm not saying it's a good or bad plan. I really don't know. But I'd really like to see it so I can think about it. But there's got to be other kinds of open meetings.
This has been the most open and transparent process that we have ever had regarding comprehensive plan. And obviously you didn't see the advertisements, you didn't read the paper or whatever.
So that means I'm blind, I'm deaf?
No, but there was certainly an opportunity to it's not like we were doing this in a vacuum.
Oh, no, I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm suggesting of the thousands of people out there who you think you're communicating to, and maybe you're not, or you're using the wrong method. I just don't know. But I'm saying, I'm not stupid. I've been very involved in this town.
I'm not suggesting
and
you're
I have no
stupid.
idea what this comprehensive plan says.
Well, if you don't, then it's not because you haven't taken the chance to read it. You haven't taken the initiative to read it or find out about it.
I'm sad to hear that your viewpoint.
No, it's been out there. It's on the website. It's been. I mean, how much more can you do?
How many of these people in the community you think are on the website? I never go to the website.
Well, maybe
may be
that's why you
talking
don't
about
know.
The Millennium people. At 82 years old, I don't go on websites.
Well, you want us to send you a special mailing on everything we do? I mean,
Do you have any suggestions?
No, I would love to have a method, and I know it's difficult.
It is.
I've been on planning boards, I've been on zoning boards, I've been on the county IDA, I've been on I don't even want to talk about what I've been on. I know it's difficult, but I'm just telling you, at this moment, I do not have the impression that the people in this town, the average people in this town, know what the plan is. Maybe it's a superior one, I just don't know. I think there should be other kinds of meetings where it's highly publicized, not on the computer. Get off the computer. There's a lot of old people in this town. And let them come to a meeting. Maybe it's a series of meetings. I don't even know who's on this comprehensive planning group. And their background may say a lot about what they're thinking. And maybe that thinking isn't what everybody else in this community wants. We are not Saratoga Springs, we are not Albany, we are not Long Island. This whole community, from my viewpoint, is changing in complexion. And I'm not sure that's the way we want to go. But maybe the community wants to go that way. I'm just saying, communicate different. And I can't give you an idea how to do it. I can tell you, at least from my viewpoint, and I read a lot of stuff, I had no idea. I thought this was going to be a meeting tonight where the planning members who did this would be there to discuss what they're doing and what was their motivation and where they expect to be.
well, you missed several meetings, because it was all done.
It was all done?
Yes?
I know when we started it, Steve, we talked back and forth about how we could get the word out to people in general, young people, older people, and, you know, it was put on the website and it was advertised thoroughly, and kind of short of putting out a newsletter for every individual household, you know, we stopped short of that, but, you know,
We did everything
it's a
other
good
than knock on
plan.
doors.
A newsletter?
No, I mean, we don't have that.
Okay. Maybe I'm suffering from dementia, but
No, I don't.
I don't think so. I'm just saying, there's got to be another way of communicating, because I know too many people who have absolutely no idea what's going on here. And I hope you don't do anything
It's a good
tonight.
plan. It's a good plan.
that prevents, well, that's what I heard 10 years ago, too, with Ray O'Connor. And it was a good plan, but somebody messed it up. Okay.
All right, thank you.
I think no matter what we do, there'd be somebody like yourself that didn't get the message, and it would just have the same complaint. Even if we sent out letters, I think somebody would have not seen it, maybe not have been aware of it. And I understand, because we all have busy lives, that you could overlook something or not see it. So, but I think Joanne's right. We did try to do as best we can to get it out, let people be aware of it in the community.
There's nothing more that we could have
It was
done.
important to the committee that the residents had a
I'm not
word.
pointing any fingers. The majority of you people are people I voted for because we needed that change. I just hope you don't mess it up like the previous group, so, okay.
Well, thank you.
Okay, anyone else before I close the public hearing? Okay, close the public hearing. And now call to order the regular monthly meeting of the Wilton Town Board. Pledge of Allegiance, we'll start it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call?
Supervisor Johnson?
Here.
Deputy Supervisor Stryker?
Here.
Councilwoman Klepetar? Here. Councilman Lant?
Here.
Councilman McEachran?
Here.
Okay, before we get into the agenda, we have a public comment period. Dan, you wanted to speak?
Again, I will continue on with the condition of the roads. As our town is continuously growing, it had, the economy's changing a little bit, hopefully for the better, and people will understand this area is a great place to raise a family. The highways superintendent and Mike Dovis have been doing excellent jobs. I would like to see the highway superintendent's input. I know for years he's mentioned having the necessity to go back and to repair storm drains. I'd like to see somehow, he's made suggestions in the past that it shouldn't be an ongoing financial burden for our highway department to fix or upgrade storm drains. I'd like to see those changed, and I know that there are other, through his years of experience, suggestions. And Mike Dovis is doing an excellent job, and the committee people that he's working with. But again, too, my mitigation fees, though they're used sparingly and wisely, are with the amount, we're coming to the point that we're going to be building out, close to 90%, 100% of our town, and we're going to have to live with it, and our families are going to have to live with it. The several miscues have happened. The Smith Bridge Road, with the homes being built on both sides, they're a welcome addition to the community. But if people are to walk, bicycle, or children are to walk, they can't do it on that foot and a half. Eventually, their safety is going to be jeopardized. I'd like to see, maybe it is part of that comprehensive plan, that not to punish the developers and making it more costly to put up. But there are things that they have to buy into this community too. And Smith Ridge Road, I use that quite a bit, and it's perilous, especially when there's bicycles or pedestrians and two cars, passing in each other. So I thank you for listening, but we've got to get a transportation committee to identify the locations that have to be fixed. Because if we wait too long, what used to cost $50,000 or $60,000 a individual traffic light, they're up in 110s, 120s. That's just life. Things go up. And now's the time to do it, and now's the time that we can't get any cheaper, not cheaper, but less costly. So, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, we just recently adopted had a new traffic study planned on that addresses many of the issues that in intersections where they're troublesome, and also later tonight we're going to get into updating our pathways and plan for pedestrian and bicycle things. So it's all.
Be a profit to do them, but there are some dangerous situations.
Yeah. No, and we recognize that, and we're in the process of doing those things.
Kurt's got the go-ahead when he does a road over to widen it. when he does it. No, he's got the money, he's never been denied the money to widen the roads. Have you?
Not recently. I just like to, we close the public hearing, but I just going back to the process, the rest of the process in adopting this plan. We did have the public hearing, and there is a written comment period for the next to September 15th. And Mark, maybe you can just, what the rest of the process is after that, so Mr. Herring can...
The rest of the process would be that MJ, the consultant, would prepare what's called a final generic environmental impact statement, which the board, if it's done, could consider at your October meeting. If you accept that at your October meeting, then something called a SECRA finding statement has to be prepared for your consideration. You might be able to consider that and adopt that at your November meeting, in which case that would be your final act of adopting the comprehensive land use plan update.
Thank you. So there's still opportunity for the public for input.
Well, that's entirely up to the board. I mean, there's definitely opportunity for written comment until September 15th, and then the public hearing, you can close the public hearing tonight, or you can keep it open and have further public comment. You can also accept public comment, as you frequently do, even when something's not subject to public hearing.
Okay. Okay, we have minutes pending from the August meeting. Is there a motion to adopt or approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve them.
The motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion on or recommendation changes to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? So moved. Next, we have you have it in your packet there, a request for a speed limit reduction on Gala Road between Traver and Northern Pines. The process on this is just refer to the county, Ryan.
Yeah, similar to what we did last month with the other.
Yeah, apparently it's two ends of it's 45 and there's 30, or no, there's 35 and then there's 45 in between, so.
Yeah, the section between Traver and Northern Pines is 45.
Yeah. So I think this is one I hope they look long and hard at, because it makes a sense to have the same speed limit on the entire stretch. So.
I make a motion, we move ahead, we get in that speed reduced.
I'll second it.
Okay.
And I think we should form a committee too. I think a lot of these roads should be looked at and get the speed reduced.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have limitations of what we can do on speed limits.
Well, we can ask.
Huh?
We can ask.
Oh, we can ask, and we do. When anybody makes a request, we do forward it on, and the county and the city.
Even like this Northern Pines and Ballard, there's been some serious car accidents in the last 6 months there. Something should be done with that intersection.
By the prison, down at the end by the prison?
Northern Pines and Ballard.
Ballard, yeah.
Yep.
Some serious car accidents there. I don't know, with double stop signs where people are blowing through that Traver's Road and clocking cars.
Okay, next, we have a reappointment request from the Board of Assessment Review. Marty Ledoux has been on the board for many, many years. Her term is up.
I make a motion to appoint her. Reappoint her.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Hudson River Valley Greenway. I'm going to turn to Ryan on this. This kind of has a twofold purpose. One has to do with becoming a participation in that, and then also it'll come up later on a grant application for some trails that we want to do. So.
Right. We wanted to update our open space pathways, trails and pathways, recreation pathways plan document, and there is a grant opportunity to help 50-50 match to with the funds to do that, but we have to participate with the Hudson River Valley Greenway. In order to do that, we need a resolution from the town board to participate.
Yeah, I think all our neighboring towns, and I know the county is part of this. I don't know why we don't participate. Maybe we've never been requested before, but I don't think there's any reason why we would not want to participate and be part of that. There's no hindrance to, they don't have any local control over things. It's only really opens up grant opportunities is really what it does.
Correct.
So there's no, you don't see any thing to not do it?
Not to my knowledge, no. It's, it's maintain the home rule. So
Okay.
they don't-
Yeah, that was my concern,
Yeah.
that they have no oversight or what we're doing, or it's just, they have no input or anything like that over our home rule.
It's a planning and funding mechanism.
So what is the resolution, Ryan? Just,
Sue has a draft resolution there.
oh,
Everybody should have a copy of it.
this one?
7.
Yeah, that's the one.
Number 7.
Number 7. Number 7, I just heard.
This is applying for the grant, though. This is not the one.
Page 2 of that.
Oh.
Because we'll have to do a resolution later for the actual grant application as well.
All right. So this resolution is just for us to participate as a Greenway community.
Correct.
Any questions for Ryan on this before we take action?
Yeah, I'd say we take the grant.
Yeah.
Needs a resolution for the grant, let's,
Yeah,
resolution.
because further on, we're going to be looking to update our pathways and trails plan, and if we're part of this, participate in this group, we can get a 50% grant towards the fee to do that. Right, is that,
Yep, it's 50-50 match.
Do they have any control whatsoever with, saying you have to do this project?
Not to my knowledge, there's no,
Like if it's,
you can read it in their, in this proposed resolution.
yeah. Yeah, I looked into it a little bit, and, because I didn't want them to have any type of regulatory, or if you participate in a grant, you got to do certain things, and from what I could find out,
Second to last, it speaks of that, the Greenway Act does not supersede or change the powers that the state has previously granted municipal governments under the New York State Constitution, municipal home rule law, or pursuant to various municipal enabling acts.
Because there are some
yeah.
grants out there, but, in order to apply for them or get them, you got to agree to certain things, and from what I could find out, it's not the case
Okay.
with this. So what the motion would be is to request the town of Wilton as designation as a Greenway community. Would that be correct?
Right, the longer of the two resolutions.
Does this whole thing have to be read?
Someone like to move that resolution?
I'll make a motion, we'll move ahead.
That's a motion made by Lant. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Next, committee reports.
Do we have to do two resolutions, or just the
Well,
one?
the other one is going to be,
We can do it on-
I think is on Jeff.
Okay, gotcha.
That's to accept the grant,
Okay.
right?
To apply for the
That's-
grant, yeah. One is to
Or apply for the grant,
participate
but
in
that's,
the program.
that's on Jeff's thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Committee reports. Do you want to mention about the senior thing on the 15th?
Oh, yeah.
So on September the 15th, the Senior Center is celebrating their 36th year in operation here in Wilton, with a celebration over there. And also under my committee, the Are You OK program. Last year I found 4 volunteers to replace some of the people that had opted out of that program as volunteers. And so this fall we'll be meeting with Dwayne Bogardus and get that all set up for this winter in case it's needed. That's all.
Supervisor Johnson,
Yes.
we got time, or can we get them a plaque for their years of service?
It's already done.
Done it? Good.
Yep. It's a nice big one, too.
Good.
Is there any other committee reports? I just have, I want to, John, do you have committee reports?
I want someone to talk about, maybe get something going. In our building department, there's a lot of problems. He follows through with things, sends letters. Nothing ever seems to get done about it. I don't know why I'm not pointing fingers, but, you know, I know letters are sent to places a year ago, and places are still awful. And I'm positive South Glens Falls, the town of Merle does this. Maybe we could have our lawyer look into it, where our building department could have the authority to send the letters and find them themselves.
Which spot is this?
These violations people have in the town, nothing ever seems to be done about them. They go on and on and on. People put things where they're not supposed to, and then they just make Mark look foolish in my book.
So just in general, it's not a specific site then?
No, I don't want to.
So you want to be able to enforce the violations?
We should be able to enforce it.
No,
Fine
I
them.
agree.
That falls upon our judges probably, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm not aware of...
I think Morel does it themselves. Maybe you could look into it and see if we
You might be thinking
could.
the village of South Glens Falls.
I'm not sure.
And villages and cities have certain types of power sometimes that towns don't have. I can certainly look into it, but I'm, off the top of my head, I'm not aware of the ability for a town code officer to assess fines.
All right. Well, you will look into it.
Sure, if you like.
Thank you.
What's the process now if someone has a violation that Mark writes up and it goes, do they have power to fine?
The judges?
Judges do, yeah.
Yeah, so I was just curious. I want to make sure that...
Yeah, I know it's been very frustrating for Mark, and if there's some way that we can make this happen.
So Mark can write a summons to force them to appear in court.
He writes a notice of violation, and he can accompany that with a town court citation that requires them to appear in court, correct?
Yeah, that's up to our judges.
To answer to the zoning violation, and the judge absolutely has authority to levy fines, and sometimes does and sometimes doesn't.
All right.
Anyone else?
No, but
Highway.
I would definitely back what Mr. Lant
Highway's good.
has proposed, if there's anything that can be done.
Well, I think we all would, it's just a matter of whether we have the authority, or Mark has that
Right,
authority. but
right.
What would be the process of following through further to make sure these violations are, more strict? Like if we say like a $50 fine for this violation, to enforce it, always shall be, this is done, this is the fine, that you get like a speeding ticket for a zoning violation or something. I'm just curious if there is anything that we could do specific.
He's going to research it. He told us he'd research it.
Yeah, okay. I just was curious, because if our judges aren't buying them, I don't know what else we can do.
Okay, I do want to appoint a personnel committee. We mentioned that at last month too. There are some lingering issues that Jeff had come up with, and changes. Some are just very because we changed from chronos to paychecks and things like that. And there's some other ones that we've dealt with. And so I want to appoint a personnel committee to look at those. But that's not the one. There are some that are already in place that we just want to enforce immediately. So that's distinct, separate from what the committee is going to be looking to do. So I've asked Councilman Lant to be on that committee, along with Jeff and Sue Baldwin and Nancy Riley. They're not a lot, and it's not going to be too cumbersome, but
You're looking for any updates to be for the January 1st meeting, right?
yeah, I mean, there are some things that we're, dealing with now that are already in place that we just need to enforce, not change so much, but so those we'll implement immediately. But these are the ones that have come up over the year. We had the thing with the fireman, we had the thing with, you had a couple other things that...
We tweak them every so many years.
Yeah. But those can wait till we do them all at once, but there's some that need immediate attention.
Yep.
And last is the controllers report, Jeff.
Okay, first one are the budget amendments that require town board approval, and Kirk is going to jinx us with an early snowstorm because he's asking for sand and salt money already.
You buying a lot of salt, being ready, Kirk?
Our shed will be full.
Fill it right up to the top.
On a nice board. Now, we have the same vendor that we had last year, Martin Salt. Multiple problems all winter long. Talked to the county superintendent. There was one bidder, Martin Salt. So I'm letting the board know now that we're going to have, I'm going to assume, which I don't want to do anything, we're going to probably have a tough winter in our projects.
Why don't we start now and get that building filled before it need it?
And it's gone up besides.
Whatever. Let's keep our residents safe and our roads.
How are our roads doing right now, Kirk?
Pardon me?
How are our roads doing right now with repairs and stuff?
We're ahead of the game on our roads. All of our projects are done. Luckily, we hustled right along. Edie Road is done. That was an extra project. Loudon Road's going to be done. If we get the approval on the rails tonight to move the rail, we're doing very well, and I'll probably come up with that much of a balance this year, which I'm not happy with, as far as roads. I think our unexpended balance should be transferred over into an account to make you guys aware of what we're doing with the roads, but also for purchase of equipment down the road, because equipment's not cheap no more.
Right.
So if we can negotiate that somehow, I think we'll have success.
Like we talked about last month, my opinion is, while oil prices are low, I think we should attack some of these roads that need to be repaired and fixed. Anything that extra that we can do this year while oil prices are low, I'd like to see us be able to do.
I'm looking at my budget now. I can tell you I have my budget ready to hand in. We have a complete subdivision to do over off of Gaylor Road area. I did one this year over off of Route 9, Mahogany Ridge. I forgot the name of this, but that's where it was. Did that whole one. That is complete. Nichols Road is complete. What else have we done? Edie Road we've done. We're doing Loudon. We've done a lot of work this year. Our controller told me I got the money. So that's our record, that we've got the money to do Loudon. So we're going to be doing Loudon in the next couple of weeks, from Ingersoll to the mall. From the mall to Weibel Avenue, probably should be a joint venture between Wilton and City of Saratoga Springs, because the line goes down through the center of the road. So I'm going to consult with the DPW superintendent in Saratoga Springs and trying to coordinate that with the city. Maybe we can do it and have them pay us or what.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, thank you.
We've done, we're approved 2 extra roads to be done.
Right.
Because of the, we've had some, to Kirk's credit, the roads have come in under budget, so he has extra funds, so that's what we're able to do Loudon, and we're able to do Edie with those extra funds.
And you're looking at the budget, and however, and I'm sure Jeff must be looking at that, we were under due to the fact of some problems we you didn't have to do, and blacktop came in at about $11 a ton less. And it's just gone down another $1 a ton. So if you're looking at 15,000 ton of material, guess what? $10, $150 grand. You know, it's, I mean, it was a good year, it's still a good year because of the oil, and oil keeps going down. So that's why we're going to jump right in on the Loud Road now and spend the funds for that. Now's the time to attack it because of the cost.
Right, and the point being that the funds are available, even though they weren't on the program to do, we're telling you, go ahead and do it, and keep ahead of the curve when it comes to our roads, so that...
Mr. Supervisor, I just want to caution you one thing. It's my responsibility to spend my budget. If I go over budget, I can become personally responsible for that debt, and that's one thing that I'm not going to get involved in.
So you've been around for 25 years or more, you've never... So, anyway, so where the hell were we?
We gotta approve the budget amendment for salt.
Oh, for this, oh, that was all over salt?
I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
And a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved.
Okay, the next one is the personal item. The town board needs to ratify their decision to allow Rich McCain to donate 40 hours of vacation time to Noel Jennings.
I think that's a very noble thing for him to do.
Yeah, we have to do this because normally it's just sick time you can donate, right? So this is an exception, so we need town board approval.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved.
Okay, next one is the pathways plan. Town board needs to authorize Supervisor Johnson to enter into an agreement with the LA Group for professional services relating to the update of the open space, recreation, and pathways plan. The contract amount is $18,000. It's going to be funded by the traffic mitigation money, which we put into the budget last month. And the next item has to do with the grant, which hopefully we will get to offset half the cost.
Right. Either way, if we don't get the grant, it's going to be paid out of the developers' fees that have been paid in for this.
So we just need a resolution authorizing Supervisor Johnson to enter the agreement.
I'll make a motion to let Supervisor Johnson authorize to pay that $18,000.
I second it.
Out of his pocket.
Motion and second. Any questions or discussions on that?
I said out of his pocket.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved.
Okay, next has to do with the Hudson River Valley Greenway, which we just joined the membership earlier. So this one, we need to have the town board needs to authorize and endorse the grant application by resolution for the trail planning design in order to apply for the Hudson River Valley Greenway grant. We're applying for an amount of $8,250.
That goes back to being part of the Greenway community. We can get a 50% grant, maybe. We can apply for it anyway.
That's the number 7 resolution.
How much is there a cost to joining the?
No.
No. Okay, just double checking.
Okay, that's my question.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve or endorse the grant application.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we authorize this Hudson River Valley Greenway, the grant application.
Second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on it? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so moved.
Okay, the next one has to do with the 2015 traffic engineering studies. The town board needs to authorize Supervisor Johnson to enter an agreement with Green and Peterson for professional services, and this is relating to the 2015 traffic and engineering studies. Contract amount is $20,500, which will be funded via the traffic mitigation funds that we have.
Which study is this for now?
This is the document I handed out last town board meeting.
Roundabouts and...
The scope of work is looking at intersections of Carr Road, Northern Pines.
Okay, that's, all right, yeah, okay.
The mini rounds.
Brian gave you this last month, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want the intersections that we're going to look at? or-
No,
No, we-
you handed out, I thought this was a different one.
I'll put forth a motion to authorize Supervisor Johnson to enter agreement with Greenman Peterson for professional services. for
And this,
traffic
again, this study is being
mitigation
paid out of the
funds.
mitigation funds.
Correct.
Second it. You get the next one.
Okay, a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved.
Okay, last item, Kirk is requesting to use $20,000 of the traffic mitigation funds to widen the shoulders on Loudon Road, which he's going to be doing. This would require a budget amendment to bring in the $20,000 from traffic mitigation reserve, to increase the reserve and also to increase the road improvement money.
I'll put forth a motion to...
This is gonna
What's
be...
left out of the budget we give them? Anything left, or gonna spend it all?
This, because he's widening the shoulders,
Right.
okay, we can use this
I realize
$20,000
that.
to help
What is
offset
it?
the cost. The
There's
total
nothing
cost of
left
the
in it?
road's like 120, 130,000. He will be using just about all of his road improvement money this year. It was over $1 million.
Is this
I'll
something we
second.
approve every, we approve this on every road that he's gonna widen, or is this...
Only with the traffic
Just-
mitigation
yeah.
money.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
town board approved $900,000 in the budget for road
And
improvements
that
this
should be
year.
part of widening it, too.
Yeah. So because we're gonna widen it with the shoulders, it falls in line with the traffic mitigation study, so we can take the cost of widening the shoulders.
Sure.
And use traffic mitigation monies for that.
That's what we did with
Right.
Gallagher, that we just
Right.
did, right?
Right.
Loudon Road has paved shoulders right now. That 19,900 is to remove the rail going up the hill on the left side going westbound. They're going to offset that rail at least a couple of foot, and then we can pave past that rail to widen that so people can do whatever they want to do. They'll have a paved shoulder to use. It's not a bicycle trail. It's not for, it's a paved shoulder, and we got to explicitly say that.
Right.
Okay, did someone move that for approval? That's John.
Steve
did, right?
started to.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Okay, before we adjourn, is there any other business? Okay, none. Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Don't forget